Well, hello, hello, hello. The rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated, but not by much. I am here. I still want to craft, and I'm still hacking. So I figure eventually I'm going to get rid of this. Maybe sometime next year. I don't know. Peanut Gallery and I again, if you follow my videos, that we've been just dying sick, and I feel better, but my voice is not totally there, and I'm coughing all the time, so please, please, please forgive me for the hacking that will be ensuing. He's back to work by some miracle of God. So far he tested second time because he lost a sense of taste for a week, and that scared us. And that's never been that long. I mean, that all happens to all of us when we get sick, but this went on for a solid week. But he's tested negative again, so we're gonna trust in God that. And I retested to be safe, and I still don't have my results again. But I trust that we are okay, and this is just the bad flu. So please, guys, word to the wise, watch yourselves. If you're of the volition, please wear your mask, even if you don't believe in it. I don't know, because I wear my mask all the time and I got sick anyway, so I don't know. Anyway, you don't care. Why? You're here to see why do I have two pads of paper and some stamps on front of you, right? Okay, so this video is brought to you by Cards for Kindness. If anybody watched scrapbook.com about a week or so ago on one of their live videos, I'm sorry, they did a release of this little stamp, and it was free. All you had to do was pay shipping and handling, which ended up being about $7. So it would have been worse if I'd have paid for the stamp. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm not complaining. But the gist of it was, and I can't find my little flyer, otherwise I'd show it to you, but the challenge was to make cards to gift away to Cards for Kindness. So it's going to be on their website. So I'm going to, and see, actually, here it is. For more information, scrapbook.com kindness. But I'm going to link you down below to it. But I am going to make a buttload of cards. And I'm going to see how quickly, let's see how much I can produce in one video. They're not going to be like, whoa, but they're going to be quick, pretty, simple cards that I can send a bunch off to scrapbook.com to Cards for Kindness to pass out to. I think they're going to go to nursing homes and hospitals and caregivers, and just, we need to do this, guys. This is part of what we do. We make these cards always to gift, so when we can, we need to do good in the world. So I highly, highly encourage you, if you haven't gotten picked up this stamp and it's still available, to get it. But if nothing else, go ahead. Excuse me, here we go, to sign up and make some cards, and let's do some good in the world and brighten up the day of somebody who probably really needs it. Okay, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to crank out a bunch of cards. It happened to be that I was really feeling the need to see this, and I happened to catch a video by another fellow YouTuber, Connie Stewart, who's a Stampin' Up, but she came up with this really quick card, just quick to put them out, and I'll link you below to her video, because credit should be given where credit is due. This is not my genius idea. This is just my take on her genius idea. Anyway, so this is the stamp I'm going to be using, because this is what I'm going to put on all the cards on the back. And then I grabbed paper, and I wanted to make cards for all the seasons. So I remembered that I had this pad that's older than dirt. Does it even have, I wonder if it has, it probably doesn't have a date on it, but I've had this pad for years. I mean, years. I'm not kidding you. If I haven't had this thing for almost 10 years, I don't know, 6 or 7 years easy is what I've had it. So, but I remembered it. It's the funny things that you remember. Oh, I know I have that pad. And lucky for me, I was able to find it quickly. So it covers me for a bunch of seasons, and I wanted to make a bunch for different seasons. And then this is from last year. This is what is this, a glittering snowflakes collection last year from Sarah's signature collection from Crafter's Companion. I wanted to make some winter cards, so I grabbed these two pads, got my stamps. I'm going to cut up some paper. What I can tell you right off the top, these are going to be all A2s. So I'm going to cut up at least my card bases. I'm going to cut up the top panels. At the very least, all the top panels are going to be 4 by 5 1/4. And so I'm going to crank those all out real quick, and then we're going to start putting these cards together. You all know how to cut paper. You don't need to see me do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's get cranking. Okay, I am back, and while I was gone, I cut up a bunch of card bases, basic A2s, 5.5 by 4.25, and then I cut my snowflake papers. The first one I started with down to 5.25 by 4. So there's a nice little edge around it, but I have decided that I don't want a white edge around it. Why? Because what the heck, you know, we're trying to make this as simple as possible, but I do want to spiff it up a bit. So I wanted to go ahead. What I really want to do is put some silver behind it, but I also don't want to cut up a bunch of paper just for a little edge, excuse me, while I try to enunciate. So I'm going to do a cheat instead. We're going to grab our embossing powder, and we're going to, silver embossing powder, Versamark, and I'm just going to go all the way around the edges of these cards. But I'm going to do one first, and I'm going to show you the deal. This is not rocket science. I did not invent this technique. Trust me, I'm not that smart. But all you do is you hit it. I'm just going to go in. And you go in about at least a quarter inch. That's what I want to see. So I would do one, maybe 2 sides at a time. No more than that. Just in case. But there we go. And then we're just going to hit it with the embossing powder. Just go ahead, and I'm just using, you know, what I found handy, which is Recollections. Because I have a whole, you know, see, now the problem is you gotta be careful when you snap your nails. But there you go. So I got, and I missed that little corner right there. There we go. Okay, so you gotta be really careful. There we go. So, okay, now we're good. We're going to call this good. And I should have, while I was doing that, let me close this up so I don't knock it over and spill it, because you know I will. This is me we're talking about, but you always want to heat up your heat tool about 30 seconds, give or take, because that makes the magic happen faster. And you go a little bit underneath, and you open it up a little bit. So from the top, not too close, so you don't warp your card. And from the back, so it's like you warp it one way and then straighten it the other. But there we go. And you watch the magic happen. It warped there on the edge because I just put it too close. And that was my bad. Let's hit it a little bit on the back, heat it up. And there we go. Okay, I'm going to turn that off for just a second. And then I'm going to come back in and do the other half of the card. I just want to make sure that I do, and I don't need to do like a 1/2 inch. Like, it's just a little hard to see. All right, there we go. I just want to make sure there's enough silver to cover behind. And then we'll come back in and we're going to pour, set that down for a second. Excuse me. And then we'll just do that. Yeah, this time, well, of course, when I poured it down, it was fine. It's when I started to flick it that I ran into trouble. And I could have sworn I gotta do 2 things. One, I must pay attention. But didn't I? Hang on. We're gonna swap glasses because I could have sworn I saw a cat hair. Oh, goodness gracious. I put them in my little cup here because I really only use these glasses for when I'm scrapbooking, working on a project. But no. I mean, if it's there, it's now buried in silver powder, and we will have a piece of Elvis in the card. Let me turn that on while I set this aside. And we'll do the same thing again. Heat it up and watch the magic happen. Hopefully soon. There we go. It's like, oh my gosh, come on. And then suddenly, woo! It takes off. And I could see I missed a couple of spots there, so. Right there. Okay, everything looks nice and shiny except right there. Okay, we are good. We'll set that aside. And we are ready literally to adhere this piece. I want to do one piece first just to show you the entire look. So see, there we go. I just really, really like that look. And we didn't have to use up paper. We didn't have to add a layer, bulk up this card because we don't know where, who, or how it's going. So I wanted to be cognizant of that. And now we're going to grab Big Mama, who I finally loaded tape onto from the last time I was working on something. I think it was a project here for you guys. And I ran out of tape. And since that time, I had not loaded her back up. I'd actually been lazy and using everything else I had to avoid having to load her up, like as if I don't know how to do it. Good golly, Miss Molly. But now we're just going to apply. Just glue that down real quick. Whoop. And not take a millennia trying to center this. There we go. Okay, so there we have the one. Now we have our card base we are ready for a sentiment and to stamp the back. So I will do that for you guys. But give me a minute. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to do up the rest of these cards. Okay? Be right back. Okay, I am back. I jumped ahead a little bit on this card. I got all of my bases all done. And I have buried them here somewhere. Here they are. Hang on. Let me reach over. I have a bit of a mess going on here. So I've got I have 5 bases here. And I did a little deviation. So I did half of them where the snowflake is on the top, and then half of them where the snowflake is on the bottom. So, the paper allowed for that little deviation. This one I might have overplayed my hand, but we're going to see if nothing else. I can always pick it up and turn it upside down. What the heck? Hey, I could even go this way. That's an interesting thought. We'll see. Anyway, we'll figure this out when I get the sentiment done. I like that. So I can go in different directions with this card. I went ahead. It took me a little bit of doing. I didn't want it to do Christmas. I wanted to be a winter card, but not per se a Christmas, because I got paper picked out there that'll have a Christmas sentiment to it. So I went through, and it took me several go-throughs before I found this is a Tonic die, have a beautiful day. I think I want to say I got this in either in one of their mystery bags. I think I'm positive. I'm almost 99% sure positive it was either a mystery bag or those on Wednesday sale. So whichever it's just been waiting there for me to need it, and I needed it. So I opted to have a beautiful day on the outside, and I ended up using, and that was the other thing I was going to go with. Okay, what paper do I use? Glitter. I pulled out mirror, but I wanted it to be just a little bit different. So I ended up, when I went through my stash of paper, you guys know I've been hoarded Tonic paper like crazy. I ended up with the hollow waves. So it's got that bit of iridescence to it. So I chose that, and I really am pleased with how this has turned out. And this die has both. If you look at it, it also has the background to it. And I did cut it out just on white paper. I didn't like it. I actually like the way it looks straight on the card, but that's an option. That's what my decision was. But let's take a moment real quick, and we're going to cut these. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to show you how I did it. And I'm going to go sideways on this. Let's see what we end up doing. So give me a second. I have it, as I'm trying to make a mess here. And I did not go over the Clorox, the bleachy white, but I did, Big Mama. But I've got my holographic paper right here. I've got my handy dandy. I just put the die back because it was going to be harder for me to lose it on the backing than if I just tossed it around. Not that I don't have the stand from Tonic. It's just that it's all folded down under paper right now, because that's the thing you do. But it was like I haven't pulled it back out completely since I took my little sabbatical, and I need to get back with it. So I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna run this one first. So not that I have much of a choice, right? But I'm gonna go ahead. Please forgive me, gosh, this cough. I'm gonna be hacking from here till doomsday. I swear. I'm just gonna run it through real quick. I swear I love my marquee. Did I mention you guys how much I love my marquee? And actually, I think we could even run this through. I didn't know, but I don't think, oh no, I have one of the long folders. I just don't know where it is. It's in one of the kits. So, but I could run it through the original diamond press if I wanted to. And maybe the next time I'll remember, because I just recently acquired that. Everybody else, it's like, it's the first one that came out. No, I go backwards. I get that second and get the marquee first, but I discovered all of this. I had seen, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm positive I had seen the diamond press before. I'm like, oh, good Lord, when am I going to reuse that? Yeah, well, I own one now. Because it does. Sometimes even a littler machine. This is great because I just grab it to run small stuff and not have to pull out my Gemini or they bust out the Empress right here next to me. It's just convenience. And sometimes for little things like this, all you need is a little guy. And this I end up using a lot. I really, really use woolly. And my arm is loose on that, as you can tell. From, I don't know if it's a manufacturer defect. It's me. You know, I can be hard on machines. I just need to be convincing about gluing it back in. Okay, we have the white. Let me shake out the bits. Looks like an election happened here, but I just want to punch them out real quick. I will do, because I did back it, the holographic, on 2 pieces of white just to make it stand out just a little bit more. Always be careful when you're running a die cut through to make sure you do not have any pieces of paper left in from the prior cut, because that's going to mar your paper without a shadow of a doubt. And then without a shadow of a doubt, wherever, it's the worst place for it to happen. Trust me on this. Okay. Now let's, come on, puppy. There we go. Take that. I don't know why I'm worrying about this right now. We don't have to clean this right now. What I am going to do is put it back on its backing so I don't lose it. That's the important thing. Is I'm less likely to lose this whole thing than I am just a little silly die. And then I'm going to call housekeeping real quick to pick up these little chads, our little pieces. Just suck these all up. I think I need a better battery. I think it's, we'll suck these up over here. I love this little thing. I swear to Pete. Okay. Every time I pull it out, I feel like if anybody's seen Hotel Transylvania, then you know when they say housekeeping, it's the witches on the broom. And they clean up, and that's always my vision when I have to clean up. So they go on, housekeeping! And I'm waiting for the witches to show up. I'm such a lunatic, I swear. Okay, we're ready now to layer these up. So, as usual, I just lay it down a little bit of glue right on my mat, straight on this silicone mat, and I just got this. They are on sale at Diamond Press. I'll link you down below to it. It's even cheaper than when I got it. I was happy to get it at 12, and they're now 10. So I think I'm going to pick up a second one, just so I have one for here and one I can just throw in my crop bag and always have it. But I love this mat. I really do. Aside from the fact that it's teal, it makes me happy. The teal is just like bonus. That's just like, ooh, yay. But that's all I tap it into the glue. And when I put it that thick, you got to watch and blow out any glue bubbles, kind of, sort of. But literally, this is what I love about these dies, is as long as you line up the very beginning, you make sure that beginning is lined up and everything just falls into place. Excuse me. And I will just, and don't get really, I mean, just like, you know, but because you'll move it. So when you press down on it, be ginger about doing it. Be careful so that you don't mess it up, because you don't want to be die cutting extra pieces. Okay, now all I have to do is this part. the part that I really don't want to mess up. Yeah. So what do? I fling it. I'm telling you, people, I cannot make this up. You're like, oh my gosh. Where's Jennifer McGuire? She's competent. She knows what she's doing. Admit it. You guys come here not for the crafting. You come here for the comedy. Okay. So now I just have one bubble to blow out, right? No, two. Yep. Okay. So now all I'm going to do, and I did get some glue up there, but I'll catch it in a minute. I'm going to line up my bee. As long as my bee's lined up, everything else, again, will fall right into place. And then I just smooshed it off. And then I'm just going to press it in carefully because I mean, at the end of the day, even if I leave my fingerprints on the holographic, it's going to be cool. I mean, I could just wipe it off. I just don't want to get fingerprints and glue on the holographic because, yeah, then never mind. It just became part of the, like right there, I'm going to try to, and that could be just a reflection of the light. But yeah, I'll just use this to moosh it down. But there we go. That was quickly. I mean, that's what, 5 minutes, give or take. And now where are my bleachy wipes? Well, they're not bleachy wipes. These are disinfecting wipes. Not that I need to disinfect. But this is what I could get back in the day when you couldn't get anything. Remember those days, guys? Last year was like, oh my gosh, you could not get a disinfecting or a Clorox wipe to save your life from MUV or money. Yep. And I have since hoarded, and I won't say hoard, but yeah, trust me, I've got about 4 or 5 of these now. I'm like, I am not running out. I am not getting caught. Okay, so now we're ready. Let me dry my mat real quick before I put a card down on it, because we're almost done with this card. And then we're just going to, now we have to make a decision, because I cut it this way. I did these right up so I could put, have a beautiful day here, which I think it's going, that's the way I'm going to go. This one, that's just to me a no-brainer, because I could also go over here and overlap it. Nope. Nope. This one screams, put me there. So that was easy. In my opinion, that's just my, decision. So I got all this trouble wiping off glue, forgetting that I still had one more glue to do. Myra. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and tap that in, or just swipe it in. I mean, I could just do it with my hand for the most part, because now it's firmer, it's easier to work with. Let me blow out my little glue bubbles, and let's just put that down. We're just going to eyeball center. Give me a second, I have it tilted so I can see it. But yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to bring it up a little bit just so you can see the tip top of that snowflake. But yeah, I mean, there you go. And what I want to do is, before I make a hot mess, is wipe that glue. But yeah, so now we have our sentiment. All we need to do is we need to stamp the inside sentiment and the backside sentiment. So give me a minute. I will be right back. And I am back. I have grabbed my stamps, and this is from Glittering Snowflakes collection from Sarah Signatures, and I got these last year. So I've got some mileage out of them. I've used them quite a bit. I've been hemming and hawing about which one I'm going to use, but I'm between may joy and happiness snow upon you, and take time to chase snowflakes. I think I'm going to go with, and it's my favorite sentiment. So, I mean, there you go. But I'm going to center that there, but I'm also thinking, actually, of moving the card over. Let's do this, because it's going to be fine. And I want to put that about here so there's plenty of space for sentiment to be written. And I'm not even sure if I want to go sideways or really like more or less center it. But I want to grab one of the snowflakes. And I almost want to grab the big one and just corner it in here, I think, and maybe put this little guy. No, I think we're just going to leave that one. We're just going to go with one. I just want to have a bit of a snowflake, Or do I leave well enough alone? Or maybe I use the little guy there and just have an entire snowflake. It's kind of like, let's see, let's move this over. We could put him, maybe we just use, we do a little flurry of snowflakes. What do you guys think? There we go. And we have the little guy over here. There we go. I think that is my, I just want to do a little bit different. You know, all we ever do on the inside is write and put all the sentiment, and I wanted to do a little bit more. I've seen there's one other YouTuber, Amy R, who does that. She always decorates the inside of the card, and she has inspired me to do the same. There we go. So pick that up. My trusty little Misty. Excuse me. And grab my VersaFine. I love, as far as I'm for stamping sentiments, this detail stamping, VersaFine is it. And then that's, once I do this, I'm committed. Good, bad, or otherwise. And press that down. Okay, right here, and then press enough right here. And I think what my problem is, it's not that I'm not pressing, it's I think the magnet's in the way. Akita. Sorry, paper stuck to my towel. There we go. Except for a little piece of the S right there. There we go. Much better. Oh, it still seems, oh my goodness. Much, much better. And I'm going to let it go like that. I don't want to restamp it. But now we've got that done. And now all I have to do is flip it. And now we're going to use our grab our cards for kindness. So, okay, handmade for you, cards for kindness, handmade with love. Oh my goodness. Made with kindness. What do you guys think? Oh my goodness. Because I almost want to use, well, I'm sitting here thinking, let's be breaking it out of here. And I have an ant. How did an ant get in there? It's like, oh my gosh, the ants are driving me absolutely nuts. So I don't want to use cards for kindness. I would rather say I think I'm going to go with the little handmade. I think I'm going to go with the little envelope here and handmade for you. I think that will be, I'm going to put that right here, center it. Oh my goodness, it's brand spanking new, so it is like super sticky. It wants to stick to me. I don't want it to stick to me. I want it. I'm going to put that in the middle of the envelope. Right there. Alrighty. And maybe, what do you guys say? Well, no, it should. Let's see if I can. What I definitely need to do, give me a second. I'm going to wipe these. No, I'm going to take them off. I will redo them. Just for the purpose of this card. Otherwise I would have stamped all the cards. But I just want to get the demo card done for you guys. But I'll go back and replace the other stamps. I might have been willing to risk it, but no. No. We are not taking risks. We're not that brave. Okay, except now I picked, well, it's okay. I have the card cornered right there. It's all right. Excuse me. And now what I do have to do real quick is I need to rough that up because it's a brand new stamp. I haven't used it yet. So you just want to rough it up a little bit just to make that first good impression. And again, let me see if I'm satisfied with where it is. And I am. So let me grab my VersaFine. And I'm just going to apply it. There we go. There we go. What I will do now is grab all of those other cards and stamp them all. Ah, beautiful. Perfect. That is it. Let me wipe my stamp. You always clean. Especially if you're going to, because it's going to take me a minute before I come back and stamp the rest of them anyway. So there you have it. This is just the quickie card. Maybe not as quick as it could have been because it's me and I'm special. But I will come back in a minute. But here you go, stamped on the back. We've got our sentiment in here, and I'm really happy with that. And I'm wondering about bejeweling it, but I don't know. I think I'm going to quit. I'm going to leave it like that because, again, the point is to make a simple, quick card. And it was only taking me longer because I've done production modes. I've done 6. So I will be back, and I will show you the other ones I come up with based on just this exact same premise, okay? Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, all right? Well, hello. I'm back now with some finished cards. So I went in, you saw me all cut up all the paper, and I had it all set up. So I created, ultimately, I believe 6 cards. And I ended up making 6 of each, but I'm keeping 1. So of that, so 5 times 6, 5 times, I forget. Anyway, about 30 cards are going to go out. They're going to go to Cards for Kindness. So they're not the end all be all. They're very simple, but that was the point, is showing you that you can do a simple card, and when you need to mass produce, it's okay. So of course, this is the one you've already seen, the snowflake one, and that's the one I have already finished all, and the other ones I just need to assemble real quick. But we've seen I did them, and I'm showing you these because what I did is I allowed the paper to tell me where to put the die cut. So each one is different. I indeed did one that was sideways, and then this one's on the bottom, so I alternated, and this one was on the top. So I let the paper tell me more or less where to put the die cut, and that's what I did pretty much with the rest of these cards I did, and I just did various occasions. So we've seen the winter one. What I did is I made a happy birthday one. Again, very simple. I'm going to show you guys how I did this one. Just gets a little bit different technique, although it's just a little bit of distressing. Not a lot, and then just a die cut and a few sequins, and there you go. I did a fall one. I did an eclipse cut on this one because the paper was, it had a lot going for it. And this is the paper that you cut in strips to use on excuse me, on scrapbook pages. But I used it for a card, and I wanted to see that was a different way of using that type of paper. And then here's our boo. This is our Halloween card. And I needed to find letters that I could make that word work. So I found these are spellbinder dies that I had. And they were just triple cut. I mounted them. I did it on that holly green paper. And just, mounted it on 2 layers of black. And then mounted it on this. And then I should have shown you. So each one has a sentiment stamped into it with a little bit of decoration, just a little bit. So there's still some space for, either just a signature or a quick little greeting. The fall one, on that one, just, I just wanted a generic card that they could, just say anything. And then I cut out a little pumpkin for one of my diamond press dies. That's where this one came from. It's one of the diamond press Halloween kits, is the little pumpkin. And then my happy birthday came out of a crafter's companion, and you can tell my wishes is a little wonky. Oh well, it's the beauty of a handcrafted item. But this is from the, oh my god, the verse binder set from earlier this year from HSN. Then we moved on. I have a Thanksgiving basically one. And this is done with the Hero Arts die. It's right here. I have it handy right here. I can show that to you because I still have it. So it's the stamp and cut, and you can still get it. It's still available. I've seen it. I'm positive I've seen it at Joann's, which is probably where I picked this up. I believe. I could be wrong. But I did the die cut, and then I added just a little bling there to dot the eye, because I couldn't imagine grabbing 3 layers of little dots and layering them and then gluing them all those together and then putting it on there. No. And then I use just the worded sentiments and then adding the blessings on the inside as a quick little sentiment. This one's Merry Christmas. Again, same premise. I used the stripe paper that you use to cut out the strips to use for scrapbooking, but instead I used it for my backing on my card because it was pretty. I really did like it. And it had a lot going, so it was very decorative. And sometimes you don't need to do a lot to a card. Let the paper speak for itself, which is what I did. So I just added the Merry Christmas, and I added a little red rhinestone there to dot the I. And then I just found this is a wood mount die that I've had for forever from Michaels, and I unmounted it. And then I didn't use my Misty to stamp, and then the little snowman that you'll see in the other cards I made also. And then we have Winter Wishes, and this is, I can't remember, it was like when I was on the hunt, I grabbed this piece of paper extras. Oh, okay, I'll make these two. So that's another winter card. And on the inside, this is from the Snowflake, the Snowflake set from, oh my goodness, let me reach over, sorry. Let's see, it is right in here. I want to show it to you, but I'll also link down below, so you know where you can find it, because I'm fairly confident it's still available. Everything I use, here it is. It's from this set, the Glittering Snowflakes from Sarah's Signature Collections. But I used that. I took sentiments from that set to use for these dies, for these cards. And so I have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So yep. 30, so I will be sending off 35 cards, so not bad. It's taken me, I'm not kidding you, a couple of days to get this all assembled and put together, but that's only because I don't have all day to work on card making. I work full time, so then it's in my spare time that I'm working on these projects and shooting video and editing video, and and like today I had to take off work early to take my mother to a doctor's appointment, so I'm busy. So I do the best I can. But this was something that at least I could participate in, and I could make something fairly quickly and get them out. And that's what I wanted to show you guys. So if you can, go ahead and sign up for cards. Or you don't have to sign up. Just make something for Cards to Kindness and send it out, because you have the ability to touch a life. So give me a minute. I'll be right back, and we're going to make up these two cards real quick, okay?